What's up, everybody? In today's Marvel Universe review, I'm going to take a look at a very, very bodacious Marvel babe. Yes, we're going to take a look at X-23. But before we take a look at the figure, let's take a quick look at the packaging. Now, I like the style of artwork they have for the X-23 packaging. Just the way it looks, it doesn't look as cartoony as, say, this style of artwork. So instead of looking like it's straight from a comic book, it looks like it's more straight from a painting, which is kind of nice. I really dig that look. And of course on the back you have a look at the figure and of course the bio. Now X-23's bio, her background, reminds me a lot of another very good looking heroine that played in a TV series. And of course I'm referring to none other than the Dark Angel character played by the very bodacious Jessica Alba. So if you want a reason why I decided to pick up X-23, I only picked her up because she's a great looking character, great looking figure, and why not? So as you can see here, we've got Wolverine and X-23, sort of the master and the student together. But since this is a review of X-23, we'll say goodbye to Wolverine. So, X-23 character, or rather figure, sorry, looks pretty good. Nice sculpt. The posability is fairly good. I will get into a issue I have with the posability in just a minute here. But let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. Of course, you get the stand here. And as you can see, a very nice head sculpt. On my figure, when I took it outside of packaging, I did have a bit of flesh-colored plastic hanging down from her chin, so I just had to kind of rub that off, and it did come off, but there was a slight issue there, but it was easily fixed. And not so easily fixed are the quality control issues by Hasbro. As you can see there, unfortunately, we've got some paint chipping. And in certain areas, the actual lines of her on her shoulder here with the black and the silver are not as crisp as I would like to see. So it's a shame that, especially on a female character of this type, that they have these quality control issues. I really wish they could address that and improve that in their future Marvel Universe releases. They don't seem to have a lot of problems with the, for example, the Star Wars figures, in terms of quality control and paint issues. But anyways, here is X-23. As you can see, it looks very nice. And I really like these belt buckles and straps here. Very nicely detailed. As you can see, they're painted with silver. Just a light there a little bit. So yeah, very nice sculpted figure. As you can see, the head rotates. You are a little bit hindered by the hair, but it does, rotate all the way around. The hair, of course, is kind of a soft plastic, and head rotates left and right, as you saw, a little bit downwards. You got articulation at the shoulders, all the way around, out to the side. You've got a swivel and a bend at this joint at the elbow. You do have this wrist armor or wrist band or whatever you want to call it. It's actually placed over the forearm. It's not part of the articulation per se, but it does move around her forearm pretty freely. You've got, of course, your articulation at the wrist, and you've got a ab or upper body articulation all the way around, as you can see. So looking pretty good there up top. And as for the waist articulation, there is no waist articulation. You don't really need it, I don't think, so I don't really feel like that's a negative about this figure. You do have the belt here, which is, as you can see, a separate piece of plastic. I think it's glued in behind the X-Men logo here, or the X-Force logo. Now, coming to the issue I have with the hips, there is, a joint there, obviously, but the range of articulation is not that great. For example, you would think that a figure or a character of this nature would be able to do the splits. Well, on this figure, you really can't do that. One of two things is going to happen. Something's going to break, or it's going to pop off the ball joint. So, unfortunately, you can't really do the splits with this figure. You can move the legs somewhat forward, but as you can see, it clashes with this piece of plastic right here, and then you really can't go back at all because her butt plastic is blocking the movement to the back for the leg. But moving on, you do have a swivel at the thigh and a nice double jointed knee and a very nicely placed swivel joint here at the top of her boot. Again, I like the details with the straps and the buckles there, very nice. And looking at her ankle. Now, the ankle articulation is pretty nice. It really, let's see, it can rotate around, but the way that the joint is set up, you can see it has like sort of side-to-side pivot. It's a weird type of ankle joint. Of course, you can go back and forward like that, as you can see there. But you do sort of have a pivot, if you can see right there. It kind of pivots around the ball joint. So, nice figure. The one issue, I guess, that some other reviewers have pointed out is that if you look at the legs and the way that the leg is quite long in relation to the rest of the body, it seems to be out of proportion. And, you know, I'm always a fan of long legs with women, but this is like over the top long. So basically the leg is, you know, in proportion to the rest of the body is rather large. Not too big of a deal. I mean, I think the long legs suit the character, so it doesn't really bother me. It's just something to note, and it may or may not bother you. I'm not sure, but just something to point out. Alright, well, this has been a review of the X-23 Marvel Universe action figure. Do I recommend you pick it up? Well, you know, like I said, I picked it up because I was really interested in the fact that it was a female sculpt and based on a character that had similar background to the Dark Angel character played by Jessica Alba. So that's really the only reason I picked it up. I don't really know a lot about this character's background with X-Force and the X-Men and so forth. I like to have a nice, you know, good-looking female sculpted action figure in my collection. So that's why I decided to pick up X-23. Alright, well, thanks for watching. This has been a review of Marvel Universe X-23.